Nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
You mean you haven't played it yet?
Hi everybody, my name is James Redovich from the Austin Chronicle. I'm here with my friends from the Daily Dot for Fantastic Arcade here in Austin, Texas, with all of these strange arcade creations. And we're going to be talking to some of the creators of those games today, and I hope you enjoy it. Talk to me a little bit about I'm never going to say the name.
Alien.
Every time I look at it, I want to say Aaliyah.
It's like Alien.
So now how did because of the control, when I played it first on my computer, it was just, 4 keys. Mm-hmm. But here, sort of famously, you have pretty much either a big moss mound, pretty much is what you have as a controller. How did that happen?
The game, it's not really gamified. It's like kind of like all about nature. So it's just really cool that you have to go through nature in order to get through to the inputs in order to operate the game in this very unnatural way. I guess it's kind of finicky and it's difficult to play, and it's just
There's nothing precise about it.
There's
no precision in a bunch of moss.
You don't even know where they are.
Yeah, you're kind of hunting through it, and
yeah.
So talk to me about your art style is very unique to you.
So everything I do, I kind of trace Metatron's cube, which is this shape in sacred geometry. So I tend to use that shape to make my assets.
Okay.
Just so that, first of all, so that it's symmetrical, but it's also not perfectly symmetrical.
And it will be out, I'm promised it will be out on itch.io by the time this gets onto the YouTubes.
Yeah, after the bundle.
After the bundle ends, yes. The bundle that you guys missed, I'm afraid. Sorry, guys. I am here with one George Royer. He is the creator of a game called Psychic Cat, which is amazing. But really, I just brought him in here to have him read this tweet that he tweeted describing his game.
Okay. It's like a cat got Dumbo drunk inside a neon sign factory while Vangelis played next door.
Yes.
Cat release authorized. Astral projection authorized.
Are you working on anything else?
Yes.
Can you tell me about it? That's cool. No pressure. So he can't tell us about it, so we're going to stop talking to George Royer now. Jerk.
So Nog is kind of it's a game about these giant monster heads, and each one is sort of this puzzle box that you flip around, and there's a whole world inside with levers that you can pull, or buttons, or just things you can interact with, kind of inspired by old toys like Mighty Max or Polly Pocket, if you're familiar with those.
Yeah, I was going to say that it reminded me of toys of my youth, and just a lot of times it would remind me of sort of baby toys.
Right.
You have those little levers, but obviously it's more complex in the relationships. What were your sort of touchstones for creating that kind of...
It comes from toys in general. So the art director and designer on the game is just really fascinated by cool, colorful, nice toys. So the whole game is kind of about taking that feeling of actual physical objects that you can play with and putting it into a virtual format.
So how did you guys get hooked up with Double Fine?
At some point, somehow, Tim actually just signed up to our mailing list, and it was super obvious too, because it was tim@doublefine.com, and we're just wait, what?
I know a Tim at Double Fine.
Yeah,
Is this
exactly.
the Tim at Double Fine?
Somehow we got into contact, and then started talking about the possibility of them doing a Double Fine Presents publishing deal or whatever, and that's just kind of happened.
PlayStation.
Yeah, so it's slated. Should I be saying this? It's slated to be a Morpheus launch.
Oh, okay.
When when the Morpheus is coming out, you have a vague idea of when Nog's going to come out.
Way to...
Or it's not even called Morpheus anymore, right? Oh no, it's the PlayStation VR now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was. I think they just switched that just a week ago.
We're going to want to cut this whole thing. It just sounds like a legal nightmare.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The game's called Wheels of Aurelia. It's a narrative road trip game, and the idea is that you're playing through a story that is a road trip story. It's an arcade game in the sense that you're supposed to play more than once.
Right.
And it looks like an arcade game, it feels like an arcade game, but
Yeah.
it's actually a narrative game. So it's both a narrative game and an arcade game.
Apart from the like beautiful views, the like pretty bitchin' cars that you get to choose from in the game, why did you set the game there and then in the late 70s of Italy?
On one side, it was a great opportunity for us to research what was happening in our country a generation before us. So we kind of we lived our lives, and we had these I don't want to say shadow, but there was this constant feeling, this constant sensation of this world that just stopped being. You know, that it evolved into whatever we were living in our lives. They were very, very blessed lives. And so we kind of wanted to go back to there and research what happened and how the political landscape became what it became later in the late 80s and in the 90s. Part of the reason we did that was to research it ourselves, and part of the reason was just to make more people interested. And so the hope is that people would play the game, be intrigued about some of the references that we have in the game and some of the things we talk about, and then just maybe start watching movies that talk about that, or read a book, or do some of their own research about the topic.
Strawberry Cubes is like a side view game, somewhat like a platformer, although you can't jump. And you navigate this world, which is fractured into a number of different screens, each of which is like a little vignette with its own little feel. I found myself drawing a lot from my experiences with my grandmother toward the end of her life. Sort of feelings of losing her, losing who she was. She had a type of dementia and was gradually less and less recognizably herself.
Okay.
So there's a lot in there about who she was as I knew her, and what it was like seeing that gradually made less and less recognizable.
And do you find, with such a personal game, do you feel, as you see people play it, if people aren't quite getting that, does that feel in any way like a personal sort of affront or something?
No, not really. You can set out to make it all completely explicit if you want, right? Here's what the story is, here's what you should feel at 39 seconds, here's what you should feel at an hour and a half. Or I think you can set out to evoke things a little more indirectly. So
now people can get Strawberry Cubes and a bunch of other games.
So as of this morning, the Mac version of Strawberry Cubes is out.
Oh, nice.
Finally got that together. I apologize for that being so far behind schedule. I grew up on a Mac, and I know what the dearth of games is like.
Froggy, parentheses, it's hungry, is described in the Fantastic Arcade booklet as no holds barred frog game.
Yes.
Now, aside from the presence of frogs, is there any other defining characteristic of a frog game?
I describe Froggy as the Citizen Kane of frog games. What makes it a very good frog game is the deep backstory of the world blown up by humans and all nature cleared by nuclear warheads so they can make room for highways, and now frogs must survive on these highways and eat butterflies.
Seems like the gameplay is just kind of like a red herring to kind of pull players into this sort of
surreal
weird and sometimes frustrating little world that you've created. What are your tools to pull people in?
Typically it starts like a joke, and I like the idea of a lot of asking people to do ridiculous things of, okay, the game wants me to do this, I'm doing that, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just going along with it. And, I think when I make them too complicated, the joke sometimes gets lost. So Froggy is really simple, up, down, left, right. They move when you move, and I think that makes it a lot more interesting too, so the character comes out. And I had other features I wanted to add, little puddles where a frog could go hydrate or something, silly things. But
hydration's important.
Yeah, but it was too complicated, and I thought it was funnier if the focus really on the frog. Yum yum, that is good. Oh, you cars, I will win.
Hellmouth is a competitive cooking and fighting game. You can go through this death course, and the devil will give you an order like, make me a salad or make me a dessert.
As he does.
Yeah, because he's hungry, and you're kind of like his little bug-like personal chefs, and you kind of like compete for like to make the best dish because you want to be the best chef, but also, you know, for his approval as well. So that's what the game is about.
What beverage do you think pairs best when playing Hellmouth?
What beverage?
Beverage.
Blood, I guess. Period blood. But I don't know.
No,
spit.
That's
pee,
what I've been playing.
Diarrhea.
A mixture.
Yeah. Foam. Anything.
Just generally any
foam,
kind of foam.
Rabies foam.
Okay, that's it from the Fantastic Arcade. Yeah, we're here in this mystery cave of a karaoke room here at the Highball, and it's time for us to go.